This is Malcolm Reese with TPNewsroom.com. News, commentary, and opinion. And today I want to talk about something that is not political, not trending, not even loud enough to make headlines, but it is one of the biggest shifts happening in the background of this country. It's the disappearance of adult friendships, real community, and real connection. The quiet collapse of social life people used to take for granted. I'm not talking about social media followers or group chats or the apps we scroll through until we fall asleep at night. I'm talking about people, actual people. Friendships you could lean on, neighbors you knew by name, cookouts, game nights, that one friend who could knock on your door without texting first. And the reason this matters is because for the first time in modern American history, we are watching that part of life shrink so fast that most people do not even notice how lonely they've become until something forces them to sit with it. The numbers paint the picture. About half of the adults in this country say they have fewer than 3 close friends. 12%, which is millions of people, say they do not have a single friend they could call in an emergency. 3 out of every 10 adults say they feel lonely always or often, which is double what it was a decade ago. Screens have replaced schedules, notifications replace conversation, and the part that nobody wants to admit is that deep down, people feel more isolated than ever, even though they are connected every minute of the day. We used to have natural meeting points that brought people together: sports, sport leagues, places of worship, bowling alleys, barbershops, front porches, PTA meetings, little pockets of life where people cross paths whether they plan to or not. Now, most of these spaces are shrinking or gone. More than half the country's community centers and social clubs have closed since the 1990s. Churches report steep drops in attendance. Local recreation leagues are struggling because people are exhausted or working too many hours. We built a society where everything is efficient, but nothing is intimate. And you can see it in daily life. People go to work, come home, sit in front of a screen, and call that normal. The average adult spends 8 hours a day looking at a screen, but less than 30 minutes a day in meaningful conversation. We replace eye contact with emojis, replace hanging out with group chats, replace long talks with quick reactions. Most people do not even remember the last time they went out without checking their phone every 3 minutes or felt present in a conversation without thinking about what they need to do next. This is not just a cultural problem, it is an economic one. People are working more hours than ever. They are tired, they are stressed, they are stretched thin. And when you combine burnout with the cost of living, long commutes, and side hustles, social life is the first thing to die because it feels optional. Except it's not optional. It keeps people grounded. It keeps people sane. It gives you a reason to get up on bad days. It makes life feel connected instead of mechanical. But right now, you have adults all across this country living entire lives without a real support system. A lot of men don't have close friends at all. And the numbers on that keep dropping every year. Younger women are reporting higher stress and anxiety because they feel isolated even while staying plugged in. Parents are too busy, singles are too tired, and older adults are disappearing into silence because their social circles broke apart and nothing replaced them. And there is something deeper underneath it. People don't trust each other like they used to. They don't feel safe opening up. They don't feel comfortable being vulnerable. And when every conversation feels like it might get judged, twisted, or screenshotted, people just stop trying. They stop risking connection because the safest person to talk to is themselves. And the saddest part is that you can feel this everywhere. At the grocery store, at the restaurants, on the street. Everyone moving past each other without really seeing anybody. What you end up with is a country full of people who look fine on paper: jobs, kids, bills paid, routine intact, but internally they are starving for something human, something grounded, something real. The problem is not that people do not want connection. The problem is that the world is not built for it anymore. Everything is optimized for speed, for efficiency, for productivity, for scrolling. Nothing is optimized for community, conversation, or friendship. And here is the part that makes me pause and think. Loneliness does not hit all at once. It creeps. It builds up in the quiet places. It shows up when you realize you have not talked to someone all day long. It shows up when you get good news and you don't have anybody to call. It shows up when you look around and realize you've built a life full of tasks but not people. And it's not weakness. It's not failure. It's the outcome of a society that stopped teaching people how to maintain friendship once they become adults. People don't drift apart because they don't care. They drift apart because systems do not support connection, because time feels shorter, because attention is thin, because technology tricks people into thinking they are social when they are really isolated. And that isolation comes with a cost. Mentally, emotionally, physically. People who feel chronic loneliness have the same mortality risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not an opinion. That is a public health data. So the question becomes simple. How much longer can a country run on empty relationships before it breaks something deeper than politics or economics? When people lose community, they lose stability. When they lose stability, they lose resilience. And when they lose resilience, everything else becomes harder: parenting, working, coping, dreaming, even trusting. This is not about nostalgia for the past, it's about reality in the present. We built a world where connection feels optional, but it's never been optional. It's oxygen. And right now, we have a nation full of people who are breathing shallow. This is the vanishing social life. Not loud, not dramatic, but dangerous in a quiet, structural way that deserves more honesty than it gets.